And we have arrived at the dealership. We get to drive right in. It's going to be a fun one. Good morning, everybody. Hope you've had a fantastic couple days. It's been very interesting around here for me. Today is a beautiful day, and behind me you will see a white 2020 Cadillac CT5. However, it's not mine. This is the loaner vehicle I was provided with by the Cadillac dealership here. And as far as I can tell, it's identical to mine, with the exception of the paint protection film. The clear bra is what they used to call it. There's none of that on the front here, none of it up here or here, where I always recommend having it on any vehicle that will be driven down the highway. Because that's where rocks are going to chip, and those are the difficult places to fix. So other than that, it's identical. Actually, I didn't even notice. Does it have holes in the front bumper? Well, it's got the plate, but it doesn't have the front parking sensors, just like mine. So it doesn't have the 360-degree top-down view camera. And I think that's about the only real option that you can get on these that I didn't get. You can move up to the sport model and all that stuff, but the premium luxury is just so much nicer. But it's exactly what it says it is. It's the luxury version. This one also has the little 4-cylinder turbo engine with the 10-speed. This is a loaner vehicle, and that usually means it's not treated like somebody who owns it. And I immediately noticed that this car is way down on power compared to mine. So I suspect that this vehicle has not had premium fuel run through it. So the computer has used its sophisticated computing abilities to determine that, and it's not letting the engine run at full efficiency to protect it. I will obviously be mentioning a few things, because there's it's quite dramatic when you get out of a car that you know and you get into an identical one and it feels like a totally different car. So yeah. The guys at the shop called me yesterday. They were a little backed up, very swamped, didn't get a chance to get a good look at my car yesterday, which is why nothing happened as far as the vlog goes. So I'm expecting a phone call here fairly early on this morning, and we're going to find out, well, how long I'm going to be in their Cadillac CT5 and just what's wrong with mine. So hopefully we can find that out here shortly, but in the meantime, I gotta head to work, and then we're gonna come up with a plan for the rest of the day. Well, we just picked up my car. As you can tell, something's a little different. But, oh man, it's surprising just how much difference there can be between two essentially identical vehicles. I mean, while I was picking it up, I actually asked for the build sheet on that one that I was driving. It is exactly the same as mine. Like, everything. Even down to the upgraded wheels. So, obviously I've got the car back. Unfortunately, it's not fixed. And I'm going to explain that a little bit. Because when it comes to warranty concerns, it's not as simple as give it to the mechanic to find the problem, right? You'd think that's what they do, but because you don't know if warranty is going to cover a repair until they say it's going to cover it, the dealerships, they can't give the mechanics the time that they really need. Otherwise, they might end up having to pay it, or worse yet, come after me to try to get money to pay for a diagnosis on a brand new vehicle that should have been covered by warranty, if that makes sense. So the dealerships have a very fine line they have to walk, is what I'm saying. Basically, They'll take it for a test drive. If there's anything that's obvious, great. They'll bring it in, they'll take some time. But if they take it for a drive and it's not immediately jumping out at them, they're going to bring it into the shop and they're going to quickly look it over. And if they don't find something in 10 minutes or so, out the door it goes, and then it becomes my problem. And as somebody who's worked in the industry, I understand how that works. It's just incredibly frustrating when you have an expensive vehicle that's supposed to be the top of the line sort of vehicle offered by a manufacturer, and it's got a problem, but the technicians can't find it in the allotted time. It's frustrating. But they have been able to determine that it should be safe, right? That's the big thing that they look for, is safety, if they can't find the exact problem. Now, they did a few little things to check it over. I've got the whole sheet, but it essentially says, couldn't hear the noise, couldn't feel the vibration, and, well, they did comment about the brakes being noisy, but I think that's just a Cadillac thing, because I don't know if they had some sort of problem with the actual brake pads themselves, but you go around and if you are in a parking lot and there's one of these or one of the little SUVs, the brakes just squeal. There's really nothing that can be done about it at this point. So yeah, a little frustrated. I'm glad to have my car back, because yeah, that other one, whew, didn't drive like this one at all. I mean, it didn't kind of have that wobbly feeling, and it definitely wasn't in the wrong gear ever, but it didn't have any power. Everything kind of felt worn, even though it had less mileage than mine. So I think like the whole, it's how you take care of a car is the biggest thing when it comes to a new vehicle. So you'll probably have seen those ads. Don't buy a brand new car, buy an old rental. Don't do that. Do not do that. Right? Yeah, you might save some money on buying it, but I guarantee that vehicle was maintained to the lowest possible budget imaginable. Right? If it calls for a specific fluid, chances are it didn't get that, because the companies that run rental vehicles, they're cheap. They have to be, right? So I never recommend buying an X rental. In fact, if you buy a car used, if you ask about it, I'm pretty sure legally have to tell you if it was a rental vehicle. Either that or it shows up on the registration when you like do the vehicle search, history search. And if you come across something that says rental, just walk away from it. You don't want anything to do with it, in my opinion, right? And I'm sure there are the exceptions, right? There always will be, but it's not something that I would ever do, nor would I ever recommend it to anybody who isn't extremely mechanically inclined or has a friend who's a really good mechanic that can just help them out if anything happens. So, yeah, that's kind of my little rant. And obviously, I ranted on for a little while there. They did wash the car, which was nice of them. There's a lot of this sort of nonsense, right? I don't know if that comes through. That's a rock chip, but it's not in the paint because I decided to put money into the paint protection film. And let's see if we can actually show this. Yeah, right there. So here's the front. I went up the fender a bit, and then it's right along here as well, and then up on the roof line. And they kind of laughed at me when I spent money on this, but if you look, there's a little rock chip, there's a little rock chip, oh, there's a big one. Well, that definitely did do a little bit of damage to the windshield, right? But none of that is damaging through the paint, so it's not gonna rust. And that's the point of the paint protection up there and along here. Because if this starts to rust, that's a big, big fix. But yeah, so that's kind of where my day is going to end off. I'm quite hungry, actually quite late. spent way too long at the dealership trying to figure out, well, why they couldn't find the problem, even though I knew the answer to that already, as I just explained. So that's going to wrap it up for today. So thank you very much for coming along and listening to me rant about vehicles that are broken but can't be fixed because they can't find the problem. So that just means we're going to have to basically confirm the problem before it goes back. So hopefully you choose to come along as we delve deeper into the issues of the Cadillac. If you do want to do that, please consider subscribing, leaving likes, sharing videos. By all means, comment what you think could be the problem. I've gone through a couple of videos now where we kind of discuss the symptoms and what I kind of think is wrong with it. I've done a little more research and I'm kind of leaning that way. So, want to hear what you guys have to say? And other than that, have yourselves a fantastic day and we will catch you on the next adventure.